One of my most popular blogs was Anatomy of an Edit Suite. And it's been about 3 or 4 years where I thought, well, hey, let's revisit that. And whether you're in your home or you're renting a space or you're building a new building, let's talk about some of the considerations about what goes into a good edit suite and, what I have here and why I have it. Now, first of all, if you are working at home, you should be going to your office, okay? You're a professional, right? So you should be working in a professional space. So your edit suite should be a dedicated room. You shouldn't have an ironing board sitting off in the corner and some toys and some hobbies and whatnot scattered about the room. It should be a dedicated room because you're a professional. You're going to work. You're getting paid for this. So you should have a dedicated office, an edit suite. Doesn't need to be, brilliant. Doesn't need to be huge. It should just be a dedicated space. So when you go into that room, you're going to work, okay? So let's talk about what goes into the edit suites here. So let's start with the chair, right? Because you're going to be spending a lot of time in this thing. Now, you don't want to cheap out on something like this, and you don't want to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars. I know there's Hollywood editors out there that insist they have to have a certain kind of chair, and I kind of see where they're going with that because the lumbar support and all those other things. But for me, I want a good, decent chair so I can spend my money on other things. So this is actually a ProLine chair. This is from Costco.com. What's nice about it, it's got the mesh in the back so that your back breathes and you don't get all sweaty down your back. It's got really nice padding on the bottom. It's got really nice armrest. In other words, it's comfortable. You can sit in this thing for 6, 8, 10 hours and you're still going to be comfortable. Is it the most expensive chair? No. It does have some nice support in the back. But what I'm saying is don't just take some chair that your mom gave you. Don't just grab a chair from another room, use a dining room chair or something like that, because you're going to be uncomfortable. And if you're uncomfortable, well, then you're not making good creative decisions because your back hurts, your butt hurts, and oh man, I just wish I could get out of this chair, but that's not where you want to be when you're working. Just spend a little money. Get a nice little chair. Now let's look at the desk. First and foremost, you want to make sure you get yourself something solid because you're probably going to be putting some weight on it. Say like an iMac or a desktop computer or at the very least some monitors. You want to make sure it's good and solid. It's not just going to start sagging on you and everything starts giving out. So this is a typical configuration right here. Obviously 2 computer monitors and a broadcast monitor right there. This desk is 6 feet across and with the wings it's actually 8 feet across. So you want to make sure you give yourself plenty of room. The worst thing that you can do is just buy a small desk, especially you people at home. Some reason you figure, well, I'm at home, so I'll just get myself a little tiny desk. And then you got stuff piling up all over the place and stacking up and you can't find things and then it gets annoying. Give yourself plenty of room. Look at this. I got a mouse. I got my notes sitting over here. I got room for plenty of other things. My client can put their scripts down. The key is give yourself room so that you got room to spread out because the more you spread out, the easier it is to find things. And especially if you're doing longer projects, you're going to have lots of notes and things like that. Now, one of the really cool things about this desk, I can actually stand up and work. So this whole keyboard comes right on up like this, and then I've got my monitors on swing arms, so they're going to pop up. There's been studies recently that say sitting down all day is almost as bad as smoking, believe it or not, for your health. So they actually recommend that you start standing up in your workplace instead of just sitting down all day. And this is a desk from a company called Anthro. This is the Fit console from Anthro. And this is my favorite part of the whole thing, the fact that we can actually stand up. I know some of you are like, oh, standing up and working, that seems so weird. But trust me, after lunch, standing up, it actually helps you stay awake. Because a lot of times, like after lunch, you eat all that food and you start to get tired after about an hour or so. If you're standing up, it makes you feel more awake. And to me, it gives me more creative juices. And I stand there and I start moving around and I'm working with the project. So if you can, either get a desk that comes up like this and you can stand up or just, rig something. But at the very least, give yourself something solid and give yourself some room to spread out. Hey, at the very least, you can go get yourself like a dining room table. That's a great thing, or a nice solid kitchen table. As long as I recommend at least 6 feet across. Somebody's here at Biscardi Creative Media. There goes our doorbell, Molly the Wonder Dog. But like I was saying, get something at least 6 feet across. That I think would be a minimum, especially if you're going to do a 3-monitor configuration like this. If you can get something more like 8 feet, it's going to be even better. Solid. Give yourself room to create, and if you can, stand up.